Yes, lovely people. I hope you're well. Welcome back to another Summer Daily News show. As always, when we get behind the mic, please make sure you subscribe, comment, and like. As you can see, guys, I'm in a slightly better mood potentially today. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. Um, I'm happy. I went out for a little run today, did some exercise. As you guys know, I'm on this diet journey. Shout out to Tar Mizzy, who's putting me onto some products and stuff. Shout out to Sam's Fitness as well, who's put together a nice little program for me to use to try and shed some of this dad bod weight. But look, I'm just gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna start with this man, Dominik Szoboszlai. Now, I know the first thing you're gonna say, because the first thing I would say, don't get ahead of yourself, Cal. We've seen this before. Let me live, man. Let me live. David Ornstein came out today and said that Liverpool are very interested in Szoboszlai. He's a player that fits our profile, fits a player that we'd like to have in our squad. Now, a few ins and outs with this. The release clause he has currently is 70 million euros, and that expires on the 30th of June. So that is less than 48 hours from now that will expire. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, though. On the face of it, it's like, yeah, you pay that and you get the player. But you could actually get the player for cheaper than that, or you could structure payments differently for the same amount. When it's a release clause, you have to pay the full whack up front. There's no negotiation. There's no, we'll pay some now, pay some in 12 months, pay some in 24 months. It is, you pay all the money now, then you activate the release clause, you trigger it, you get to speak to the player about personal terms, and you go from there. We've seen it many a times. I actually think we still have a chance of signing him if we're in for him, if we're serious, without the release clause being there. Now, granted, other teams might be interested, like a Newcastle, which could potentially have a bidding war. However, we've seen with Arsenal and City at the moment, if a player wants a certain destination, it could potentially go in favour of the team that wants him, just regardless of who's got the most money and who can put down the most money. Now, granted, City have pulled out that race, but we'll touch on that in a bit with another player. I think we could get Szoboszlai for between 60 and 70 million euros. I do. I really do. If we're serious about it. And I think we could even set up structured payments. We have a fantastic relationship with the RB group. Let's be honest, we have a fantastic relationship with the RB group. Konate, Naby Keita, Carvalho just gone the other way. And that's another thing. Carvalho just gone the other way. We've set them up with someone who could potentially subsidize losing Dominik Szoboszlai. He's a player that Klopp likes, but more importantly, Szoboszlai loves Klopp. Go back and read the quotes. Szoboszlai said he'd love to play for Jurgen Klopp. Now, he said this in 2020. That's 3 years ago. I doubt he's fallen out of love with wanting to play with Jurgen Klopp in 3 years. Maybe he's less inclined to want to just play for Klopp, but I doubt he's lost that love and respect. And Klopp admires his player and rates him. I think after we played them in the Champions League when he was at Salzburg, Klopp interrupted his post-match interview and said, look, you had a really good game. Congratulated him on the performance. Guys, this is a deal that we could do. And look, what I like about this deal is he's a player that can cover two positions. He can cover the he can cover the 2-8 positions, whether it be left centre midfield, right centre midfield. He can also cover right wing. Would I want to see him as our right winger? No, but he can cover that position. I'd much rather him play there than any of the other options we have right now, because he's played there plenty of times. So people, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, even though I've got this massive smile on my face and I'm happy. You lot called me pessimistic. I don't want to see no one in the comments saying I'm being too optimistic or too positive now. Can't have it both ways. You know who you guys are in the comments. I'm going to start naming and shaming you, by the way. If we get this, if we can pull this off, if we can get Szoboszlai, Kone, Thuram, and a centre-back, people, we're eating good. But it all comes down to the ambition of the club and the ambition of the owners and the manager being able to move players on or be willing to move players on. So it remains to be seen. I've got my fingers and toes crossed. Let's hope Dominik ends up at Liverpool Football Club this summer. Right, let's move on to another player. Gabriel Veiga, a player that's been linked with us again, has a release clause of 40 million euros. Plays for Celta Vigo, again, attacking midfielder, goal-scoring midfielder, creative as well. However, it seems as though Manchester City have now entered the race for Gabriel Veiga, sorry. After losing out seemingly on Declan Rice. They've walked away from that Declan Rice deal, it seems, and it looks as though they are going to go for Veiga. Obviously, Chelsea are interested in him as well. I don't get the whole interested thing. And what this screams to me, when a player's got a release clause of 40 million euros and no one's triggered it, to me, it suggests he's not a first choice target for any of these three teams. Because he's a player you can go and get. 40 million euros in today's market is definitely not an issue for Man City. They just bid up 90 million for Declan Rice. It's definitely not an issue for Chelsea. They've just spent 600 million. It shouldn't be an issue for Liverpool. It shouldn't be. I don't believe he's our first choice. I don't believe he's Chelsea's first choice, nor do I believe he's Manchester City's first choice. Still a very good player, but I don't think he's our first choice. But if we were to miss out on players like Szoboszlai, and Klopp does want to add a goal-scoring midfielder to Liverpool Football Club, then you can do a lot worse than Gabriel Veiga. So I'll be interested to see how we do with that. I don't think the release clause should be an issue for Liverpool. I think that's our sweet spot between 30 and 60 million pounds. So I think it's something we could do, but it remains to be seen whether we do it. Another player who we've been linked with quite heavily is this man, Mickey van der Ven. Again, similar to the situation with Veiga, his price is quoted as around 40 million pounds, I believe it is. He's now apparently open talks with Spurs, or Spurs have open talks with him, should I say. Once again, I don't think he's our first choice. I think this is a player we could have got over the line quite quickly and quite easily, especially with Schmadtke being close to the club that he plays for, Wolfsburg. I think he's not our first choice. I don't think he is. I'm struggling to see how he would be. And here's the thing. For 40 mil, you can go and get players who I believe are better. You can go and potentially get Inacio. You can go and get Colwill. You can get players who are better than him that would probably suit our style better and have a better profile suited to the Premier League for the same price. So I don't know if we walked away because that's the price, or we've just walked away because we're linked with someone else and trying to get someone else over the line. We have been linked with Inacio. Reports came out yesterday, last night, that we are really interested in the player and we're trying to structure a deal. Again, he'd be one of my first choices for that left centre-back role. I think he can push Virgil. He can also play as a part of a back three. He could also play as an inverted left back as well, if need be. Inacio, Colwill, those are the two I'd look to first. Obviously, Gavardio would be my absolute first choice, but that's just not going to happen. We're not in that market. I'm trying to think who else. Max Kilman, I don't think is a player people should sleep on. I think he's a good player. Again, homegrown. He is indeed homegrown. But for me, Inacio is the one that stands out the most out of all four of those. So people, let me know. Let me know what you think. Do you think Szoboszlai comes to Liverpool Football Club? And if he does, and let's say he's the only centre midfielder we sign on top of McAllister, who would be your starting three in midfield? Really be interesting to know who your starters would be in midfield. Also, let's say we only signed him. We didn't get Kefren, Thuram and Kone. Would you be happy with that? Do you think he's better than Kone? Do you think he's better than Thuram? Do you think he's better than if we were to buy both of those for the price or around the price that we'd get for Szoboszlai? Do let me know in the comment section, people. We will be back later tonight with a show, also with a special guest as well that will reveal nearer to the time of the show. So make sure you follow us on social media. And people, always fun doing this. Always nice chopping up with you guys. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, until we see you later on this evening, have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kopish, and right, people. Take care.